Hey everyone, it's Elaine. I am back again with another video. Happy spring. So this video I wanted to discuss 3 reasons why some religious cult members will disown or abandon their children or completely not talk to them anymore, which is also a form of abandonment but in a different way. It's more like emotional abandonment. And it's super common. This happens a lot, especially in the Iglesia Ni Cristo, which I was born and raised in. And it is a fundamentalist cult. And so let's get into the 3 reasons why some family members will disown their children, will banish their children, will banish any other family member that decides to leave, especially if they're so entrenched in that system. So the first reason is because of the narcissistic system. So when I say narcissistic system, I'm talking about a system. Let's look at it structurally, not like the structure of the church, not like the architecture. I'm talking about how the system runs. So when I say narcissistic system, it's a system that deflects, avoids, minimizes any negative remark, any criticism, even if it's constructive. It's super common for a lot of hardcore members or radical members to react with defensiveness, to react with hate, to react with they just want to avoid and deflect anything that looks bad, because it will reflect badly on the whole system. And instead of meeting those people with empathy and compassion, it's usually met with anger, denial, dismissal, avoidance, because it causes a lot of shame. And I know in Tagalog shame means hiya, and that's super common in the Filipino culture. It's kind of it's like, oh, embarrassing to think that like anything could be wrong, but you're missing the opportunity to meet people's needs. But unfortunately, in a narcissistic system, they don't want any bad on that name because it reflects badly on them. And that brings me to my second point of why some family members will disown their children, is because they see their children as literal extensions of themselves. So if their child leaves because they marry a non-member, if their child leaves because they just don't want to be a part of the narcissistic system anymore, that causes a lot of shame and embarrassment on the family, and they can't internally handle that shame. So they'll, instead of moving toward their child and meeting them with compassion, curiosity, and empathy, they'll turn the other cheek and instead disown their children. So that piece of them, that piece of their child, is disconnected from them, so then they don't feel the shame anymore. It's easier for them to turn the other cheek, disown their child, so that they don't feel that shame and embarrassment anymore. So that's really common in a lot of religious cults like the Iglesia Ni Cristo. It happens a lot. And then the third reason why some family members will disown or abandon their children is because they take the scripture in a literal context. And so when I say literal context, if you take a look at the stages of faith, it's called the Fowler's Stages of Faith. I think it's stage 2. It talks about the literal interpretation of religious scripture. So when the INC talks about you will burn in the lake of fire, they will take that as a literal interpretation of the scripture instead of seeing it in a metaphorical way, seeing it in an abstract way. So when you take literal interpretation of the text, you're gonna see those rules as the truth, and it's easier to follow those rules instead of kind of like look at the bigger picture or think outside the box. A lot of concrete thinkers are drawn to literal interpretations. So that's another reason why. It's like very by the book. It's very rigid. Like, okay, so this, that means this. You're not a member anymore. You're not my child anymore. It's very concrete thinking. So what I mean by concrete thinking is versus abstract thinking. It's like, okay, my child's not Iglesia Ni Cristo anymore. Okay. But they still want to be Christian, right? They're still Christian on a broader scale, right? That's more like you're thinking more, less concretely. Okay, so they're still Christian, as you know, even though they're not Iglesia Ni Cristo anymore. So that's kind of the difference there. So I really hope this video shed light on this area. I just want to say not every Iglesia Ni Cristo family will abandon and disown their child, but it does happen. It's super common, especially in the Philippines. So if you have thought of any other reasons or know any other reasons why some family members in the Iglesia Ni Cristo or any other religious cult abandon or disown their children, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. It will be educational for a lot of people. Alrighty, I hope you guys learned something new today, and I will talk to you later. Bye.